you always see like your whole life, your story, all your, and I think our brain tends to look at the failures, right? People see you different. They see parts of you, and I think our brain tends to look at the failures, right?
When your woman is expressing her emotions, that's a great time to just shut your mouth.
So, let's deep dive. Let's do this. Let's do this right away. What do you like about me? I had an interesting conversation the other day about someone who doesn't know me so close. It's not in my closest contacts. Told me, so it was on that summit, and this person told me what they think of me or what kind of impact I have on their life. And I was totally, I don't want to say shocked, but maybe surprised because this person sees me from a totally different perspective than I see myself. Did you ever had this before?
I had nearly the exact same experience just a few days ago. Yeah. Yeah, I it's interesting how kind of limited our vision is from our own perspective.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me it was like kind of the proof that people see you different. They see parts of you. You always see like your whole life, your story, all your, and I think our brain tends to look at the failures, right? Like like we talked the other day about how gifted we really are, what kind of genius we are, but our brain tends to focus on the things that are not working, that hasn't been working, something that was a failure in your opinion. And so I feel it's very important now and then. And we did that. Remember the group we met?
Yeah.
There I had to do it the first time that I had to ask three people in my life what they think about me to get a reflection. And I implement that also in the courses that we have, that I give the homework to ask to a person that's very close to you, then a person that's that like your family or your best friend, then you ask a neighbor, and then you ask someone from your coaching bubble. I always call it the coaching bubble. And it's so interesting. This is, you need a lot of courage to do that. If you never did that before, it is challenging to ask someone, because you got to be open, because the question is not only what do you like about me, it's also what do you don't like about me. So,
And so the people that you ask are, one more time,
uh,
it's your from your family.
yeah, it's someone who's very close to you. It can be your best friend or your family. And then you ask a person who's like a neighbor, a little, or a colleague like from work. And then you choose someone who's going through coaching with you. Like if you're in a group call or if you have a coaching community, then you choose someone from there. And they all have a totally different perspective on your personality. It's very, very interesting. Also a little challenging. Also for the people you ask, to give them a feedback what they don't like about you. What do you
Ouch.
like about me? Let's deep dive. Let's do this. Let's do this right away. What do you like about me?
Oh gosh, there's so many things I like about you. So some of the, I guess it's a lot of the things that we have in common. Extremely growth oriented. Um, like extremely growth oriented. Like, um, gosh, the things that I have seen you overcome in the last mm, 3 months is stunning. It's like Like that's more than the average person has in, 6 years. So there's that. Um, I love the way that you're learning to trust what you feel and what comes through you. That is amazing because it's so powerful. It's so powerful. This everything that we're doing and everything that we're talking about came came through you, and this is like I call it a lifetime of personal development in 1 year that you created, and that's not like hype. That's it's real. It's I so if you just go back and look at the last 3 4 videos that we did, this is like a small percentage of one course that there's 12 of these courses. It's unbelievable. And as we go through, it's going to take us a year to create all these videos, and it just all came through you in a matter of, you know 18 months that it took you to put it together. But I mean, how long did it take you, or like, not how long did it take you, but uh did the alignment wheel come out all at once?
Yes. Yes,
Good.
it came out all at once. It was completely overwhelming to me. And but the details, like the details, they come whenever I'm ready. So that's I think that's the hardest part, to also stand the pressure of the coaches who are willing and wanting, and they just want to continue. And sometimes I have to tell them, you got to wait a little because I have to be ready. It has to be ready. So yeah, that's very spiritual. Yeah. Yeah, to step into my own spirituality, that was a big step for me. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that about you, that you not only that you have that, you have the ability, but that you use it. Because I'm as my beliefs start to change, I'm starting to believe um that anyone could do something like that, even though
Yes.
it's extremely rare. The rare part is that most people don't do it. They don't listen. They get these little taps on the shoulder and they just keep going.
Hmm, hmm.
And you don't do that. You turn around and let it hit you.
Yeah, I always, like, nowadays I do not work so much in the empowerment. I'm work more in metaphysics and channeling and teaching people how to let these kind of energies flow through you or match these energies. I would want to say it, because like the universe is electricity, and we have to create like electricity within ourselves to match this frequency. Like electricity um realizes electricity, so they bond. But if you stay in your daily life and in your daily problems, you're not able to do this. And I would probably not probably I would not be able to do this without you. And we sometimes talk about the different energies, and you described that to me once with the masculine and the feminine energy, and you said like the feminine energy flows, and the masculine, it's like the water, and the masculine energy is like the container who allows the water to flow but being protected. And that's literally exactly what's happening. Like, you give me the opportunity to experience my spirituality. And for European, it's pretty difficult to allow their spirituality, because It's not like in your world, like in Canada or North America, where you're free to believe whatever you want to believe. Yes, you're free to believe what you ever want to believe too in Germany, but there are two big churches who are influencing the whole country. Like it's evangelic and Catholic. These are the main churches, and they have a huge impact. And it was the Catholic Church in the medieval that burned all the, I want to call it witches. Like, I know in your country, witch is not something negative, but over there, a witch is, yeah. And they tried to destroy that old wisdom that's here, that was there for ages and centuries. And I'm so happy and feel so blessed to be here and to be able to let that flow within me and to allow me to connect without being scared that someone finds it weird. Over there, that's everything like this is weird. No, there are people coming in from the coaching bubble, that's what I call, who believe in that. But yeah, most of society thinks that's something crazy, that's something.
Right. And and so it's I like the description that you gave and about how it works between us, because it's also the most natural thing in the world for me to form a protective barrier around you. Not a barrier, not a concrete barrier, but a protective barrier, one that can move and stretch as needed, but so that wherever you go, I'm always there. Um, and so that's, yeah, that whole segment started off with you asking, what do I love about you? And
Mhm.
I didn't even get through the list.
So I told you something that I love about you already. Like it's being my boulder and being my, yeah. That's,
Yeah.
by the way, it's maybe really important to maybe you're interested in that, how a relationship works. And it's I'm a businesswoman. Like, we have a big business. When I have meetings and I do strategy sessions with my team, I'm a pretty tough woman. Like, also when it's about contracts and things, because I studied law. So I'm a businesswoman. But what I always wanted was a strong man. But like this polarity, that electricity I just talked about, it's also in the relationship. Like, if you are a masculine woman, or you use it, let's say you use your masculine energy for business, but you want to have like a masculine man, this is not working. Like, because these are two poles that do not attract each other. So what I try to do is, when we're private and we're like having a date or something, I dress more feminine, or I behave more, or it's not it's not that I change for that, because it's within me. And it's, yeah, it's for a good purpose, I would like to say.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so it's probably something that you need to express,
Hmm.
especially after having that big part of your day that's where you're not like that.
Hmm.
And I'm so happy that you've become aware of that, and that because that's a massive that enables the passion that we have in our relationship. That's what it is.
Hmm.
And so while you have to have a pretty strong grip on things while you're work,
Hmm.
but when work is over, then you have the ability to let go, and
Hmm.
then I'm there for
Hmm.
that. So that works really well for sure.
Hmm.
One of the other things that I love about you, and I just want to get this one out. One of the other things that I love about you is that you're like, you read so many books. You're like the most interesting person. I did talk about how you're massively growth oriented, But when I said that, I was talking about your ability to notice things that aren't serving you and change them in your beliefs, in your behaviors, in your whatever. Most people just go along with it and have habits that are lifelong, but you're looking for things that aren't working and finding them and um changing them into something that does work, which is amazing. But also you are able to read at a speed that most people can't comprehend the knowledge at. And as a result, you've read about 1 billion books, and you're like the most interesting person on earth, for me at least, to talk to.
And I continue to. So what I said is like, you I I have to say, I'm sorry, that's now the same. It seems like a copy. But to me, you are the most growth-oriented person I know. Like you experienced a lot of trauma around relationships, and you just decided, I'm not gonna go into a relationship until I know how relationships work. I want to read everything, I want to know everything, I want to get everything about relationships. And you built the foundation for our relationship. Like without you, it wouldn't exist. And with your need for, I want to have this, like you set this intention there, and you said, I'm not going to give up until I have that magnificent, fearless, whatever you want to call it, relationship. So you basically built this relationship for the two of us. And what I'm experienced with you in this relationship on all levels, like passion and love and reliability and trust, and I didn't even know that something like this exists. So I always feel like, you men out there, if you're not happy in a relationship, like just hit him up. Like he can show you, like he attracted me from overseas. Like we didn't know each other. I was living in Europe and I'm here in Canada now. It's a different culture. It was a difficult process to to integrate into this country, into this culture for me, which is totally different to the German culture. And he just made that. He built that, like, and he built it out of the momentum. It's enough. It's enough. I'm not gonna do this anymore. I'm not gonna have this anymore. And he changed his personality so much. He developed so much. It's, yeah, just hit him up if you have any questions. That's, you can have the perfect relationship because you create it, if you know. So that's one thing I admire so much, and I'm benefiting from it so much. You're also very, I don't want to say the opposite of me, but how do you say that? It's probably the both poles again. I'm a very emotional person. I live my emotions in the now. I can get very angry. I can get very frustrated, very depressed. I feel it's part of my femininity to allow that. And you're like the boulder. I have a recording on my phone, which I don't listen to it so much anymore because we are most of the time together. But we had a pretty dramatic scene from my side, and you just gave me a voice message that said, I'm a boulder, like whatever you do, like you're so, how do you say that? I don't know how to say that in English. You're you're literally like a boulder, like you're stable, and you're like, it's not that I'm not hurting you, but you're like, how is that? When I get so emotional, I can get pretty angry, and I can get, how is that for
Yeah,
you? How do you do this? Like,
yeah. I it comes back to boundaries, honestly. I have learned how to recognize that some things aren't about me. And this is an important, super important thing for men, I think, to learn how to keep your mouth shut, first of all, and not react, and how to know that, and the visual sort of reference that I gave you was actually the boulder. So the boulder, just imagine that there's a boulder. It could be in the forest or in the meadow or whatever, and it's a boulder and it just sits there. It gets rained on, it gets sun on it. There's a hurricane whipping up sand and, trying to cut it, and trees get uprooted and fall over it. And still, after all that, what's left is a boulder. It's unchanged. That doesn't mean that it's not human. It just means that it's able to withstand all of that. And so when your woman is expressing her emotions, that's a great time to just shut your mouth and just know that probably it's not that much about you. It might be a tiny bit about you, but not that much.
God, guys, really, this is changing everything. And I would love to say, hey, ladies, learn, but he is really specialized to teach men here and to show men how to create the perfect relationship, because there's so much more planning and intention behind having the perfect relationship than we normally think. We just think we meet someone, we fall in love, and that's it. And that's not it. That's not it. It's, you probably heard someone say that a relationship is work. And I always kind of thought, yeah, it's hard work to create a relationship. That's not what it's all about. I don't think it's hard work. It's just planned work. It's structured and organized work. And it's just, you got to follow some guidelines. And then you, as a man, you're out there, you can have the perfect relationship. It doesn't matter what you've been through, and he has a lot of trauma around that. So yeah, so these are the things I adore so much about you, that you're so stable, and you step up for the things you want, and you're not like the protester type that goes out there and says, oh, and have that sign up. You're like more quietly just doing it. So the saying, don't rely on the words, rely on the actions, that's like you're personifying that, kind of, I feel. That's so, yeah, I guess interestingly, we talked about the core values in another video. You are the personified integrity. That's what, yeah. And do I have all? I probably have 5 already. Can I give a 6th one? Like,
Sure.
you're like the most loving person I ever met to your loved ones. I don't know how, I sometimes have a glimpse of that's not to everyone. But if you're lucky to be in the circle of your close ones and your loved ones, you're like, you give so much love. It's unbelievable. It's just unbelievable.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I just want to just retouch that briefly, the boulder, because I don't want people to think that, especially men, I don't want men to think that being a boulder means that you're closed or that you don't have any emotions. It's not like that. It's just that you know which things are about you and which things aren't about you. And so while the boulder withstands all the rain, the hail, the sand, the trees breaking over it, and all those kind of things, the boulder is also the place where the kids come and climb on it and sit on it and and the wife is there to hug it and get some warmth from it. That's also part of being a boulder. And so that's what I try to be in my life, in my family, in my life.
No, no, no. I totally disagree here. You're not trying to be it, you mastered it.
Thank you. I love you so much.
I love you so much too. Thank you for creating the perfect, really, literally creating the perfect relationship for us.
We're co-creators.
So my little one says, I have no time for that. Mm,
Come.
come. Oh, I haven't showed you guys this. This is a little secret that you don't know about us. So we met online during the lockdown, and we had no chance to come together. The borders were closed at that time. And we went through a bit. We had a 10-month long term we had a long distance relationship, and we went through a process of inner child work together. And yeah, my inner child always said to David, come, David, come, David. So before I ever met him, in physically, I got that tattoo. And that tattoo says, come, David, come. That's why he mentioned that. So because you know, then you know. You don't have to doubt it.
Yeah. I didn't know that clarity was going to take such a turn into relationships, but it's something that I really enjoy talking about.
Mhm.
Mhm.